when the battle's lost and won.
That'll be the set of sun.
Where the place upon the heath,
there to meet with
Macbeth. I come, Grey Malkin, paddock calls.
anon.
A drum! A drum! A drum! Macbeth doth come! There is Lord, all is there! Come to the fog and fill the air!
revolt the new estate.
This is the sergeant who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful is good. The merciless MacDonald from the western isles of Cairns and Galliplatis is supplied, and fortune on his damned quarry smiling showed like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak. For brave Macbeth, he deserves that name. Disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked bloody execution like Valor's minion, carved out his passage till he faced the slain, which ne'er shook hands, nor bade farewell to him, till you seemed him from the knee to the top and fix his head upon our battlement.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman!
The Marquis of Scotland Mark, no sooner justice had, with valour armed, compelled these skipping curs to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lords, obeying vantage with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the bow. Unless they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorizing of the golden I cannot tell. I am faint. I dash his cry for help.
Oh, so well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honour both. Go, get him surgeons. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross. What a haste looks to arrive. So should she look that seems.
God save the king!
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Bellona's bridegroom, lacked in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point gainst point, rebellious arm gainst arm, curbing his lavish spirit. And to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Oh, great happiness! Oh, no more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, and with his former title greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
Oh, what he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
So foul and fair that I have not seen.
How far is called to Forres?
What are these?
So withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of earth and yet are others. Live you? Or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me, by each at once her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Glans!
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor! All hail Macbeth! Thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? I claim of truth. Are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction, of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time, and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favours nor your hate.
Hail!
Hail! Hail!
Lesser than Macbeth and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier. Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail!
Stay, you imperfect speakers. Tell me more. By Finnell's death, I know I am Thane of Glans. But how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you have this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you.
The earth hath bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted his breath into the wind. What did it say?
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king!
And Thane of Cawdor too, were they not so?
To self-same tune and words.
Who's it?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend which should be thine or his. Silenced with that, in viewing o'er the rest of the self-same day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death. As thick as hail came post with post, and everyone did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defence, and poured them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And, for an earnest of a greater honour, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak truth?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did lie in the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both we laboured in his country's rack, I know not. But treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is to come. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings? But those that gave Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them.
That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm. The instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told. As happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme, I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it give me earnest of success, commencing in the truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion, whose horrid image doth fix my hair and make my seated heart look at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings, my thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look our partners rapt.
If chance will have me king, why, chance may crown me without my stir.
New honours come upon him, like our strange garments. Cleave not to their mould, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may. The time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favour. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts each to other.
Very gladly.
Till then enough. Come, friends.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back. But I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness's pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like believing it. He died as one that had been studied in his death to throw away the dearest thing he owed us to a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Oh, worthiest cousin! Oh, the sin of my ingratitude even now is heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due, the more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state. Children and servants, which do but what they should, by doing everything safe toward your love and honour.
Welcome hither. I've begun to plant thee, and I will labour to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, who has no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, adieu whose places are the nearest, know that we shall establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, who we name hereafter the Princess of Cumberland. And honour must not unaccompanied invest her only, but signs of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deservers. find us further to you.
The Princess of Cumberland. That is the step on which I must fall down, or else all belief in my way it lies. Stars, idle fires, let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye winketh the hand, yet let that be, which the eye fears when it is done to see. The rest is labour which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
Oh, my worthy Cawdor. True worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air into which they vanished. As I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor. At which time before these weird sisters saluted me and referred me to coming on of time. Hail King shall be.
This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightest not lose the dews of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Wait till thy heart, and farewell.
Lambs thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of milk of human kindness to catch the loose way. Thou wouldst be great, quite not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. Thou wouldst highly, but wouldst thou wholly, wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou didst have great lambs, that which cries, this thou must do if thou have it. And that which rather thou dost fear to do, thy wishes should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valour of thy tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who word so would have informed for preparation?
So please you it is true, our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. He brings great news. Ivan himself, his horse, equips the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, the spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make the blood, so that the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers! Reverend no sightless substances, you wait on nature's mystery. The dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wounded makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold! Hold! Great lands! Worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorance present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my thing, is a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Be welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. His that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch. We shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favour ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
Then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease. Success. That but this blow might be the be-all and end-all here, but here upon this bank of shore, the time we took the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions, which being taught return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his king, and his subject, strong both against the deed, and as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, and I'll bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity, like a naked newborn babe, striding a blast, or heaven's cherubim. Forced upon the sightless careers of the air, shall a horrid deed be blown in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vault in ambition, which overleaps itself and falls on the other.
Take my hand, conduct me to mine home. If we love him highly, we shall continue our graces towards him.
And now, what news?
He's almost supped.
Have he asked?
Why have you left the chamber?
Have he asked for me?
Will you not? He has.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Is the hope drunk wherein you dress yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale as what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, that in I dare not wait upon our wood, like the poor cat of that hour?
Prithee, peace! I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What base cost then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more than man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck! And know how tender it is to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked the nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail. But school your courage to the sticking place and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rabble shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his two chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince. That memory, the warder of the brain shall be a theme and the receipt of reason a limbeck only.
When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? Why not put upon his spongy officers who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done it?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamour roar upon his death?
I am settled, and beg that each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time of fear is shown. False face must hide what the false heart does know.
The moon is down. I've not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12.
I take it is later, sir.
There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Take me that too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me. Chester would not sleep. Restraining me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to impose. Push it!
A friend.
What, so not yet addressed? The king's abed. He hath been with unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant of defect, which else should free abroad.
All's well. I drank last night with radiant sisters. To you, they have shown some truth.
I think not of them. Yet when we can entreat the now to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that time, if you will grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honour to you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance clear. I shall be counselled.
Good repose a while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Go bid thy mistress. When my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get her to bed.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. How? Let me close. Perhaps thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from a heat oppressive brain? I see thee yet. In form as palpable as this, which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon, gouts of blood which was not so before. There is no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now the one half world nature seems dead.
Wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel the wolf, whose howls is watched thus with his stealthy pace. With Tarquin's ravishing strides, towards his design moves like a ghost. How sure on Thurs that earth hear not my steps, which way they walk. For fear thy very stoats prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whilst I threat he lives, words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go when it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Which have made them drunk have made me bold. What have quenched them have given me fire. Hark! Peace! It's the elbow that shrieks, a fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He's about it. Doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there?
Alack! I'm afraid they'll wait. It is not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark! I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. My husband!
I have done the deed. Dost thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owls scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
No.
As I descended.
Aye?
Hark, who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to see a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh and sleep. And one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them. But they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
We're two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other. As they had seen me with these hangman's hands.
Consider it
listening their fear.
Deeply.
I could not say amen when they did say, God bless us. But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I have most needed blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought of after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more, Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the ravelled sleeve of care. The death of each day's life, sore labour's bath, balm of hurt minds. Great nature's second cause, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more, Macbeth does murder sleep. Worms have murdered sleep, and therefore Golo shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that was cried? Why, worthy thing, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go, get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hands. Why did you bring the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them and spear them.
I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. Look out again, I dare not.
Firm of purpose, give me the daggers. Sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If you do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is't with me when every noise appalls me? What hands are these? They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No. This my hand will rather multitudinous seas in Canada, making the green one red.
My hands are of your colour. shame to wear a heart so white. We're knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber.
A little water clears us of the steed. How easy is it then? Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark, more knocking! Just bring your neck down. The occasion calls us and shows us to be watchers. You're not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know the deeds were best not know myself. Wait, Duncan, with thy knocking, I would thou could.
There's a knocking indeed.
The man reporter of Hellgate, he should have old turning the key.
Anon! Anon!
Was it so late for a neighbour to bed that you do lie so late?
Hey, sir. We were carousing till the second cock. And drink, sir, is a great provoker of 3 things.
What 3 things does drink especially provoke?
Nary, sir. Nose painting, sleep, and urine. Luxury, sir. It provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with luxury. It makes him, and it mars him. It sets him on, and it takes him off. It persuades him, and disheartens him. Makes him stand to, and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in a sleep, and giving him the lie, leaves him.
I think drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir. It's a very thrown on me. But I requited him for his lie. And I think being too strong for him, well, he took up my leg sometime. Yet, I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring? Our knocking has awakened him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Tomorrow, both. Is the king stirring, worthy thing?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I've almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know it's a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labour we delight in physics pain.
This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes to King Hen's today.
He does.
You did appoint so.
The night has been unruly where we lay. Our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamenting service of strange screams of death and prophesying accidents terrible of dire combustion and confused events new hatched to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamoured the livelong night. Some say that earth was feverish and did shake.
It was a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Oh, horror! 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 Tongue nor heart can not conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord annotated temple, and stole thence the life of the building.
What is't you say, the life?
His Majesty!
Approach the chamber, and destroy thy sight with the new gorgon. Do not bid me speak. Sing, and then speak yourself. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason, backwoe! Don't obey, Malcolm, awake! Shake off this down sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself! Up! Up! See the great news image! Backwoe! Backwoe! It's from your grave, rise up to walk like sprites, the countenance is her! Raise the bell!
What's the business? Such a haste trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house. Speak! Speak!
Oh, gentle lady. Oh, Banquo, royal master murdered!
Alas, what? In our house?
So cruel anyway. Deep down, I prithee contradict thyself, and say it not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant there is nothing serious immortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead, the wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees is left his fault to brag of.
What is amiss?
You are. You do not know it.
the spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
A royal father murdered.
By whom?
Those of his chamber seem to have done it. Their hands and faces were badged with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
What foot did you sow?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? The expedition of my violent love outran the pauser, reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gash-stabbed wounds look like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. There, the murderers, steeped in the colours of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love known?
Help me, hands, help!
Look to the lady!
Look to the lady! And when we have our naked frailties hid, the suffering exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
So do I.
So all!
Let's briefly put our manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well
contended.
Why do we hold our tongues? That most may claim this argument for hours.
What should be spoken here, where our fate, hid in an auger hole, may rush and seize us? Let's away. Our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion. What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England.
To Ireland I. Our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles, near in blood, the nearer bloody.
This murderous shaft that shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim, therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave taken, but shift away. There's warrant in that theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
Within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange. But this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Good father, thou seest the heavens, as troubled with man's act, threatens his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travailing lamp. Is night's predominance, or the day's shame that does the face of earth entomb, when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done.
On Tuesday last,
A falcon, towering in her pride of place, was by a mousy owl hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience, as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they eat each other.
They did so, to the amazement of mine eye that looked upon it. Here comes the good Macbeth. How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
It's known who did this more than bloody deed.
Those Macbeth have slain.
Alas the day, what good could they pretend?
They were so born. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, have stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Gainst nature still, thriftless ambition that will raven up thine own lives' means. Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He's already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where's Duncan's body?
Carried to Conkill, the sacred stone house of his predecessors and guardians of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, I'll to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old road sit easier than our new.
Farewell, father.
God's benison go with you, and with those who would make good of bad and friends of foes.
dance all, as the weird women promised. But I fear thou playedst most foully fought. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and mother of many kings. If there comes truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But no more.
Here's our chief guest.
If she had been forgotten, it had been a gap in our great feast and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, friend.
And now request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with the most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon.
Aye, my good lord.
You should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both brave and prosperous in this day's council. But we'll take tomorrow. Is fire right?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time. Twixt this and supper, go not my horse the better. I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing to their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow when they wither, we shall have cause of state, quaking us jointly. Hire you to horse a jaw till you return at night. Goes fleance with you.
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horse is swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be the master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time. Alone. Well then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in her royalty of nature reigns that would be feared. 'Tis much she dares, and to that dauntless temper of her mind she hath a wisdom that doth guide her valour to act in safety. There is none but she whose being I do fear, and under her my genius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. She chid the sisters when they first put the name of king upon me, then bade them to her. Then, prophet-like, they hailed her mother to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren sceptre in my gripe, thence to be wrenched with an lineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If to be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan have I murdered. Put rankers in the vessel of my peace, only for them. And mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seeds of Banquo kings! Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? Go to the door, stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then, have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was she in the times past which held you so under fortune, which you had thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you. How you were born in hand, how crossed the instruments and all things else, that might to half a notion and to a notion crazed say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospel to pray for this good woman?
and for her issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid on't.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
And so is she mine! And in such bloody distance, that every minute of my being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep her from my sight and bid my will avouched, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both hers and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail her fall, who I myself struck down. And thence it is that I, to your assistance, do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
So our lives.
Your spirits shine through you. Within the hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect by the time. For it must be done tonight. And something from the palace. Always thought that I require a clearness, and with her, to leave no rubs, no botches in the work. Fleance, her son, who keeps her company, whose absence is no less material to me than in his mother's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart, I'll come to you anon.
We are resolved.
I'll call upon you straight. Abide within. It is concluded, Banquo. Thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? Sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on. Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We'll scorch the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor Malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, both the worlds suffer. Here we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead whom we to gain our peace have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason is devil's worse. Nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on, gentle my lord, sleek o'er your rugged looks, be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
And so shall I love, and so I pray. Hear you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him with eminence, with both eye and tongue, and safe the while that we must, in these flattering streams, making our faces visitors to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou know'st that Banquo and her fleance lives.
But in them nature's copy's not a turn.
Discomfort yet. They are assailable. Then now be jocund!
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, my dearest Chuck, till thou wilt feel the deed come. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rocky wood. Good things of the day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvellest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bar begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me.
But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth.
She needs not our mistrust, since she delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just.
Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the later travel at a pace to gain a timely in. And here approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark! I hear horses. Give us a light back.
Then 'tis she. The rest that are within the note of expectation already at its court.
Her horses go about
Almost a mile, but she does usually, so all men do from hence to the palace gate. Make it their walk.
A light, a light.
'Tis she! Stand toot!
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down!
Quickly! Rise the flames!
Who did strike out the light? Was it on the way? There is but one down. The sun is fled.
We have lost best half of our fare!
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
You know your own degrees? Sit down. And first and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks, Your Majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps us state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Announce it for me, sir. To all our friends, my heart speaks they are welcome.
See? They encounter thee with their hearts as thanks. Both sides are even. Here I sit in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon, we'll drink a measure the table round.
This blood upon my face.
Tis better thee without than she within. Is she dispatched?
My lord, her throat is cut. That I did for her.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats. And yet he's good that did the like for flails. If thou didst it, thou art the nonpareil.
Those words, sir. Leonce is sick.
I had else been perfect, as whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. But now, I am cabined, crude, confined into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Aye, my lord, safe in the ditch you lie.
Thanks for that. Now get me gone. Tomorrow we will hear ourselves again.
Royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is so good as was often vouched. What is the making? It is given with welcome. To beautiful guest and commence the sauce to meet a ceremony meeting your beer without it.
Sweet remembrance. Now good digestion, weight and appetite, and health on both.
May it please your highness. Sit.
Here have we now our country's honour rooved with a graced person of our banquo present, whom may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mistrust.
Her absence, sir, lays blame upon her promise. Please, your highness, to grace us with your royal company.
Which of you have done this? Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His Highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth.
Pray you, keep seat. The fit is momentary, upon a thought he will again be well. If much you know, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed, and regard him not. You man.
I am a bulb and a distal of the map which might report the devil.
This is the very reason we give you. This is the influence of what you said, like you Duncan. His fall and starts. It fosters true fear. He will become a woman's slave as a winter's fire authorized by her granddad. Shame itself.
Prithee, see there. Look, lo, how say you? Behold. Why, what care I? If thou canst not speak too. If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the moors of kites.
What's quite unmanned in folly.
I stand there, I saw her.
Fly for shame!
Blood hath been shed here now. In the olden time here, the humane statute purged the gentle wheel, aye, and since too. Murders have been performed too terrible for the ear. The times have been that when the brains were out, the man would die and near an end. But now they rise again, with 20 mortal murders on our crowns and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. That is strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Now come leaven health to all. Then I'll sit down. Give me some wine, fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table. To our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would she were here. And all in all we thirst, and to all in all. Rhinoceros. Take any shape, but man of my firm nerves shall never tremble.
I'll be alive again, and tear me to the desert with my sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me the baby of a girl. Hence horrible shadow, and real mockery. Hence! Why so? Being gone, I am a man again. Pray you, sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be? And overcome us like the summer's cloud without our special winter? You make me strange, even to the disposition that I own. When now I think you can behold such sights, and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks. When mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you speak not! He goes worse and worse, questions enrage him. Once good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night and better health attend his majesty.
Kind good night to all.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. It will have blood, they say. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning. Which is which?
How sayst thou that Macbeth denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it, by the way, but I will send. 'Tis not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant feed. Tomorrow I will, and betimes I will to the weird sisters, more shall they speak, for now I am bent to know by the worst means, the worst! For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood stepped in so far that should I wait no more, returning were as tedious as go over. Strange things I have in head, the will to hand, which must be acted. Here they may be scattered.
You lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
Come. Will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the innocent fear that once had use. We are yet but young indeed.
Only I say things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied at Macbeth. Marry, he was dead. And the right valiant banquer walked too late. Whom you may say, if it pleaseth you, Fleons killed, the Fleons fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father damned? That did not grieve Macbeth. Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents near that were slaves a drink and thralls asleep? Was not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, for it would have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So as I say, he was born all things well. And I do think that had he Duncan's sons under his keep, as on to please heaven, he shall not. They should find what 'twere to kill a father. So should Fleons. But peace. For from broad words, and 'cause he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself?
The heir of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court, and is received of the most...
pious Edward with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect.
Thither Macduff is gone. to pray the Holy King upon his aid to wake Northumberland and warlike Seward. And this report hath so exasperated the king that he prepares for some attempt of war.
Sent he to Macbeth?
He did. And with an absent sir not I, the clouded messenger turns me his back, and hums as who should say, you'll rue the time that clogs me with this answer.
And that well might advise him to a caution. To hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England and bestow this message ere he come, that with swift blessing may soon return to this, our suffering country under the hand accursed.
I'll send my prayers with him.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed! Thrice that once the hedge pig whined!
Here cries, 'tis time, 'tis time!
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw, toad under cold stone, days and nights has 31, sweltered venom sleeping got, boil our first to the charmed pot.
Double! Double! Toil and trouble! Fire, burn, and cauldron bubble! Fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake, eye of newt and toe and frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blowworm sting, lizard's leg and howlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell breath, boil and bubble! Double! Double! Toil and trouble! Fire, burn, and cauldron bubble!
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, mountain goth, of the raven, toffee shark, root of hemlock into the dark, litter of blasphemy, new cold ghost, the youth glitter in the moon, the pets, nose, triple charters, finger of bird, strangled bay, fish delivered by a draft, paper girl, thick and flat, after two a tiger's quadrant, more than gritty, silver, cold,
Double! Double! Toil and trouble! Fire, burn, and cauldron bubble! Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good. By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes, open locks and weather knocks.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is you do?
A deed without a name!
I conjure you by that which you profess. However you come to know it, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak! Demand!
Well answer.
Say, if thou dost rather hear it from our mouths, or from our masters.
Call him. Let me see him.
Come high or low, thyself and of its deathly show.
Tell me thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou naught.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware Macbeth, beware the pain of fight. Dismiss me, enough!
Whatever thou art, for thy good cause and thanks, thou hast out my fear all right. But one word more.
He will not be commanded! Here's another, more potent than the first.
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee. And live, Macbeth. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure and take upon the fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies and sleep in spite of thunder. What is this? That rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the round top of sovereignty.
Listen, but speak not to it!
Be lion men proud, take no care who chase who fretful where his spiles are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Burnham wood the high and nail shall come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree, and fix his earth-bound root? Sweet Holdman's good rebellious dead, rise never till the wood of Burnham rise, and our high place Macbeth shall live the lees of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. But my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more!
I won't be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse will fall on you. Let me know!
Show! 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 Show his eyes and breathe his heart! Come like shadows, so depart!
There are two like the spirit of Banquo. Down! The gold-bound brow is like the former. The third is like the former. Filthy hags, why do you show me this? The fourth, start eyes. One, will the lion stretch out to the crag of doom? Another yet. A seventh! And I'll see no more. And yet the eighth appears. Who bears a glass which shows me many more. And some I see that twofold balls and treble scepters carry. Horrible sight. Now I see 'tis true. The blood-bolted Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for hers. What? Is this so?
Your Grace?
So you're the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Expected be where on the air they ride and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who else came by? Who else came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord. To bring you word Macduff has fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
I now anticipated some of great exploits, and the flighty purpose is never overtook unless the deed goes with it. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand, and even now to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise. Seize upon Fife. Give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool, this deed I'll do before this purpose call, but no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come! Bring me where they are!
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam!
He had none. His flight was madness when our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom. To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in a nest against the owl. All is the fear and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason.
Dearest puns, I pray you school yourself!
But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves. When we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way and move. I take my leave of you. Won't be long, but I'll be back again. Things at their worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before.
My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered she is, and yet she's fatherless.
I'm so much a fool should I stay longer. It would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Sirrah, your father's dead.
And what will you do now? How will you live?
Birds do, Mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird. Thou hast never fear the net, nor the line, the pitiful, nor the gin.
Why should I, Mother? Poor birds, for they are not set for. My father is not dead, for all you're saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy to sell them again?
Aha! Thou speakest with all thy wit, and yet if fate were written not for thee.
Was my father a traitor, Mother?
Aye, that he was.
And what is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Everyone that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Everyone.
Well, you must hang them.
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools, for there are liars and swearers enow to beat the honest men and hang up them.
Now, God help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If my father were dead, you'd be dead. No! It should be like I should have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talkst.
I done some to you, no! I done some dangers that approaches me! Again,
Whither should I fly? What are these faces? I have done no harm. But I remember now I am in this earthly world, where to do harm is often laudable, to do good sometime accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up this womanly defence to say I have done no harm?
Where was your husband?
Oh, I hope in no place so unsanctified as such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shaggy villain!
You young fly of treachery!
Treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon, that which you are my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest bell, though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
Lost my hopes.
Perchance, even there were, I did find my doubts. Why, in that rawness, left you wife and child? Those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave taken. I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonours, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Lead to a country, great tyranny. Lay thou the bias shore, for goodness dare not check thee. Where thy thou wrongs.
The title is a bid. Very well, Lord. It would not be this villain that thou thinkest for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich Easter boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here from gracious England that I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this,
when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer, and more sundry ways by her that shall succeed.
What should she be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that when it shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem the purest snow, and the poor state of steamer as a lamb be compared with my confinement time.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evil to top Macbeth.
I found him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking in every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust, and my desire or constant impediment would overbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance. In nature is tyranny, and has been the untimely emptying of the happy throne, and full of many kings. Fear not yet to take upon what is yours. You may convey your pleasure in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold the time you may so hoodwinked. We have willing dames enough. It cannot be this vulture in you to devour so many, as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this, they groaned in my most ill-composed affections, such a stanchless avarice that were I queen, I should cut off the nobles from their lands, desire his jewels in this other's house, and my more having would be as a source to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust between good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
Avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer seeming lust, and thin the sword of our slain king. But fear not yet. Scotland hath foisons enough to fill up the will of your mere own. All this is portable with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, loneliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them. But abounded in the division of each several crime acting it in many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproot the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Ah, Scotland! Ah, Scotland!
Such a one be fit to govern speak. I am as I've spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. A nation miserable with untitled tyrant's bloody sceptre. When shalt thou see the wholesome day again? Since the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed. Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee often upon her knees than her feet, died every day that she lived. Fare thee well, Lord. These evils that thou repeatest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, my hopes end here.
Macduff! This noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good, truth, and honour. Devilish Macbeth by many of these trains has sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over-credulous haste. But God above, deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction, and speak my own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself, for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have subverted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am, truly, is thine and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, before thy here approach, old Seward with 10,000 men, already at a point was setting forth. Now we'll together
Our chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome, unwelcome things. It's hard to reconcile. See, comes in!
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
Oh, my ever gentle cousin, welcome hither.
Come here now. The times remove the means that make the stranger. Sir Omen.
Stand Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is what seemed to smile.
Oh, relation, too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker, each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrants have not battered at their peace.
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
You're not so holding with your speech, how goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I had heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief, witness the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good Stuart and 10,000 men. An older and better soldier, none than Christendom gives out.
Would that I could answer this comfort with the like.
What concerns thee? Is it the general cause, or is it some fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind is honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
You know, keep not from me. Let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them of the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
Huh. Yes, it is.
The castle is surprised. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner we're on the quarry of these murdered deer to add the death.
All my children.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I was from them hence my wife killed too.
I have said.
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. My little. She's so poor. Oh, how can I fall? Oh, my pretty chicken fountain won't fountain.
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. I must also feel it as a man. But remember, such things were more precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take part? Sinful Macbeth. They were all struck from me. Not that I am, not for their own demerit, but for mine. I'll slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief converge to anger, blunt not the heart, enrage it.
When thou this fiend of Scotland within my sword length set him, and if he escapes, heaven give him to.
This time grows manly. Come, go we to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
have 2 nights watched with you, yet I can perceive no truth in your report. When was it last she walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
It's a great perturbation in nature to receive at once the benefits of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, aside from her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you, nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her. Stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense are shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her, to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour. Yet it is got.
Hark, she speaks. Well, I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance all the more strongly.
Out, I say! Why then, 'tis time to do it.
Fly, my lord, fly, a soldier and a fear. You who knows it when none can call our power to account.
Mark that?
Oh, his hands there be clean! No more that, my lord, no more that. All with this starting.
Go to, you have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not. I'm sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
There's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will concentrate in this little hand.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray God it be so.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known people who have died in their sleep, who have walked in their sleep to have died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. You yet again, the bank was brave, she cannot come out on there.
Even so?
To bed.
There's knocking at the gate. Come. Come.
Come, give me your hand. Sam, cannot be undone. Bed. 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 Bed.
Will she now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows do discharge their secrets. More needs she, the divine and the physician. God forgive us all. Remove from her the means of all annoyance, yet still keep eyes on her. So, good night. My mind she has mated and amazed my sight. I think, I dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
Burnham wood till we meet them. That way are they coming.
Who knows if Donald may be with his sister?
For certain, sir, it is not. I have a file of all the gentry, their assured son, and many unrefuted even now protest their thirst of manhood.
What is the tyrant?
Great Dunsinane he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Others that lesser know him do call it valiant fury. But for the certain, he cannot buckle his distempered cause with a belt of rule.
Now does he feel his secret murders sticking on his hands. Now minutely revolt to upbraid his faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him, like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
We'll march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of the sickly wheel, and with him pour we in our country's purge each drop of us.
For so much as it needs, to dew the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Make we our march towards Burnham.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Burnham won't remove the Dunsinane, I cannot take the fear. What's the girl, Markham? Was she not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall ever have power upon thee. Then fly false things and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I swear by, and the heart I dare, shall never sag without, nor shake with fear. The devil damn me black, thou cream-faced loon! Where gotst thou that goose look?
There is 10,000!
Geese! Villain!
Soldiers, sir!
Go prick thy face and overbreath thy fear, thou lily-livered girl! What soldier's patch? Death of thy soul! Those linen cheeks of thine are counsellors to fear! What soldier's white face?
The English force to please you!
Take thy face hence. Satan! I am sick at heart when I behold. Satan, I say! This bush will cheer the ever of the city now. My way of life is fallen into the sea of the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age is honour, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have, but in his stead, curse is not loud but deep, mouth honour which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan!
What's your gracious pleasures?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my flesh be hacked. Give me my armour.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on! Send out more horses. Skewer the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. And put on my armour. How is your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord. She is troubled with the coming fancies that do keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that! Canst thou not minister to a mind disease? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart.
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
No physic to the dogs, I'll none of it. I'll not be afraid of death and pain, till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Though I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Then by him shadow the number of our hosts and make the scurry Aaron report of us.
It shall be done! We learn no other but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane and will endure our setting down the fort.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him, but constrained things, whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we own.
Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry still may come. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine in the aid you eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours,
We might have met them dearful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What is that noise?
It is the cry of women, my good lord!
I had almost forgot taste. My senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fellow peered at the dismal treaties, rouse and stir as life rent. I have supped full with horrors, dying as familiar to my slaughterous thoughts cannot unstart me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle, life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comes to use thy tongue. Thy story quickly!
Gracious, my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir!
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked towards Burnham, and anon methought the woods began to move.
I am enslaved.
Let me endure your wrath if you say it isn't so. Within this spring vile thing, you see it coming out and say it's moving wrong.
If thou speaks false upon the next tree, I shall hang alive till famine cling thee. If thou speaks sooth, I cannot thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution, and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not till Burnham wood comes to Dunsinane. And now a wood comes toward Dunsinane. Arm and out! If this which he avouches does appear, there is no flying hence, no tarrying here. I begin to be weary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell! Blow winds, come rack! At least we'll die with harness on our back!
Now near enough your leafy screams throw you down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, lead our first battle. Worthy Macbeth, we shall take upon what else remains to do according to our order.
Very well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight, let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath. Those clamorous homages of blood and death.
They have tied me to a stake, I cannot fly. But bear-like, I must fight the cause. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear on none.
What is thy name?
Thou be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou call'st thyself a harder name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself cannot pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No, no more fearful.
Thou liest, a bold tyrant. With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speakst.
was born of woman. Besides, I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by a man that's of woman born. Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword? Whilst I see lives, the gases do better upon him.
Why thou have done!
And all men else I have avoided thee. Forget thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
Lose this labour. As easy makes thou the entrenchant air with thy keen sword and press as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still serves tell thee, Macbeth was from his mother's womb, and timely wrecked!
Accursed be that tongue that tells me so. Which hath come a better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believe the porter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
The guilty coward! And live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rare monsters are, painted on a pole, and under it here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. No burden was to dance in aim, and now opposed being of no woman born. Yet I will try the last, before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damn be him that first cries, hold! Enough!
Some must go off, and yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing. And your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died.
Then he is dead?
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Were his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Well then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have heirs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his knell is known.
He is worth more sorrow. And that I'll spend for him.
He is worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score, and so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Hail, Queen, for so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. See thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl. That speaks salutations in my mind, whose voices I desire to hear aloud with mine. Hail, Queen of Scotland!
Hail, Queen of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour made. What's more to do, as would be planted newly with the time as calling home our exiled friends abroad, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher, and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought by self-inclined hands, took off her life. This, and what needful else calls upon us, by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one, whom we invite to see us crowned